Hi, this is David Hawthorne at astroview.com. Today's the 21st of August 2012. The following is the Vedic Astrology reading for Barack Hussein Obama, President of the United States, based on the 4th of August 1961 at 7:24 p.m. in Honolulu, Hawaii. Now, there is controversy surrounding his time of birth and his birth certificate, but I am comfortable with the reports that this is absolutely his birth certificate and his birth time. Now, using Vedic astrology from India, in the first house of Capricorn, we see that he does have the Capricorn ascendant rising sign, with Saturn in the first house at 2 degrees, Jupiter in the first house at 7 degrees and 32 minutes, and the ascendant itself is 24 degrees and 43 minutes. Saturn in the first house makes the person a senior statesperson. It brings maturity. Because Saturn rules the second house of Aquarius and is placed in the first house of self in Capricorn, then it brings wealth and status through his own self-efforts. In fact, Saturn in Capricorn, in a Kendra in the first house, is considered a Panch Mahapurush Yoga, one of the 5 great yogas of life. This one is called Sasha Yoga, and it means senior statesperson. So he can lead the masses. Saturn, as a Panch Mahapurush Yoga in the first house, says he can lead the masses. And Jupiter in the first house brings law degree and religion and divine grace, good luck, and good fortune. Ketu in the second house is very good for spirituality. Moon in this chart is absolutely carrying this chart. It's at 10 degrees in its exaltation sign. And it's in the 5th house. It's interesting, Moon is feminine. Number 2 is in the 5th house of children, so he has 2 daughters. But this exalted Moon, more importantly, gives him an enlightened mind. Very nurturing, maternal type of mind. And he can study public affairs. Moon is the public, and it's in the house of higher education. But an exalted Moon gives one the ability to comprehend, to emotionally connect, to emotionally comprehend. So he really has good Moon. This is good heart. This gives him a good ability to connect with others emotionally. Now he has Venus in the 6th house, and Venus rules his 10th house of career. And we can say when the 10th ruler is in the 6th house, the person goes in for service to humanity, usually through law, medicine, or finance. And indeed, he's became an attorney, so he studied law, and he's known for his efforts in healthcare. So it connects his career with healthcare, also connects his career with finances. So he's worked a lot on the economy, a lot on the budget deficit. He works in the affordable health care plan, and he works in the area of law. Now we see that Mercury and Sun are in the 7th house. Mercury in the 7th house can give him some good fortune through marriage, relationships, and partnerships, because Mercury rules his 9th house of Dharma and divine grace and good luck and good fortune. And Mercury's in the house of relationships, partnerships, and marriage. And Sun is also in the house of marriage. This can give him a tall wife and a wife who has some authority of her own. She also was an attorney and involved in politics. It connects his marriage with politics. So his wife is is married to the President of the United States. So this is a very good situation, this Sun and Mercury in the 7th house. Now Mars rules the 4th house of happiness at home and parents and mother. And it's in the 8th house of obstructions, delays, disappointments, setbacks, accidents, and even death-like experiences. So his father was killed in an accident, and his mother had a death-like experience, died from cancer. And there was a lot of disturbance and tension in childhood due to the divorce of his parents and travel and separations, that type of thing. Weak Mars. He would benefit from wearing a red coral gemstone to strengthen his Mars, and he would benefit from wearing a diamond for strengthening his Venus. He can also wear a blue sapphire gemstone to strengthen his Saturn for wealth and status and family life. Now we look a little deeper into this chart, and we see that Saturn is at 2 degrees considered weak, so we want to strengthen Saturn with a blue sapphire gemstone. We do see that Jupiter, ruling the 12th house of foreign lands, is placed in the 1st house. So we could say that there is some connection with foreign lands, and indeed he lived in Indonesia as a child, and he does a lot of world travel. We do say that Jupiter at 7 degrees is in Capricorn, which is its debilitation sign, so it's probably better for him not to permanently live abroad. And the weakness of Jupiter can limit the number of male children and can cause him trouble with his liver and his gallbladder and his hips in old age. We do see that Venus ruling the 10th house of career is in the house of conflict, so he can have some enemies and conflicts. We do see that Jupiter at 7 degrees ruling the 12th house is a malefic influence, and it does aspect Mercury at 9 degrees. So Jupiter ruling the 12th house of foreign lands is aspecting Mercury ruling the 9th house of father. So his father comes from a foreign land, but 12th house also losses, so loss of father. So he would need an emerald gemstone to strengthen Mercury in this chart. Now we see at the time of the first election where he became the president, he was running the moon subperiod from November 2007. The election was in November 2008. So between November 2007 and March 2009, he ran moon, which is exalted. He rules relationships, partnerships, joint ventures, so I doubt that he became president without a lot of collaboration and partnerships and joint ventures behind the scenes. And of course, this is an exalted moon, extremely good. Now we see that in July he went into his 19 years of Saturn, which is a Panch Mahapurusha Yoga, and he's going to be running double Saturn at the time of the election. So in general, this should be quite favorable for success. My only concern is that this is a transit chart, is that this K2 is going to be over here at 2 degrees at the time of the election, aspecting Saturn at 2 degrees. So there may be some setbacks and disappointments with wealth and status at that time. But in general, what I do like is that Saturn transiting his 10th house of career is going to be over here about 5 degrees at the time of the election. Actually, even better than 5 degrees, stronger than that. And that means it'll be exalted here in the house of career. That's going to be a very, very good situation. If we take a look at the transit charts here, we can see that on the day of the election, Saturn is actually going to be at 9 degrees. And so that's going to be a very positive thing. So Saturn will be sitting over here at 9 degrees and blessing this Jupiter. No, it doesn't aspect Jupiter. Oh, it aspects Mercury at 9 degrees, ruling the 9th house of divine grace and good fortune. So I think there's a good chance here for the re-election.